Welcome to another episode of Traveler's Stories. Journey Joe is joining us again today. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. On our previous episode, we covered week number 1 of your 7-week Route 66 journey, and we ended up in Missouri.
Right.
So I have Journey Joe's photos from week number 2 loaded up. So, Joe, let's go ahead and talk about week number 2.
Okay. So, first of all, the backdrop to all this is um, my credit card got hacked, so I have to change my plans because I have to get my credit card. But for now, we're gonna look at a couple of pictures. This is St. Louis. It's called Benton Park. It's about, I don't know, not even a mile south of downtown St. Louis. And so this picture here, this is the park directly across the street from the Airbnb, or was it a bed and breakfast? I don't know, but it was a nice old house, bed and breakfast where I stayed. The neighborhood was very nice. You know, nice to walk around. It was hot, but it was a very nice place. And so I walked through the park, and let's see, what do we have next there? I think took a picture of an old brewery. Yeah, that's a brewery there. I think it was called Lemp Brothers, Lemp.
Hmm.
So I don't know what kind of beer they made, but there was a brewery there. And then I passed this really nifty looking fence. I don't know. Just had to, you see something like that, you just got to take a picture of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Now, what is this building here? What is this?
this is actually a vacant hotel. And I'm going to guess, not quite, it might be Cuba, Missouri. It might be just a few towns before that. But the reason this photograph, and you can't see it from the photograph, but this hotel is so old that it faces the railroad tracks, not the road. In other words, behind this hotel is Route 66. In front of this hotel, which is where I'm standing right now, I'm actually standing almost on the railroad tracks.
See, now that's interesting. So that was even pre Route 66, probably,
Yeah.
because the passenger train traffic would get off and go to the hotel.
Yes. And the next picture, I think, is going to tell us Sullivan. That's where that old hotel is, very near Sullivan. Because this here, of course, almost everybody knows this is the Shamrock Motel. This is the one that Roman Rich is restoring. He's
Mm-hmm.
doing quite an amazing job on it. And Angel always likes to park on fresh pavement. So there she is. And
Okay.
nobody was there when I stopped by. I would have said hi, but there was nobody there. So I just stopped and took a picture and then headed off on my way. Um, Now this place here, uh, this place is called Uncle Ernie's. This is in Bourbon, Missouri. I was on my way to, I'll tell you a little story right now. We can hold the picture. I was on my way from St. Louis to my next stop, which was going to be Cuba, Missouri. And I had to, I had to make plans like on the seat of my pants because I have to go get my credit card, right? Remember,
Mm-hmm. I
they
remember the
sent my
credit
credit
card
card.
story.
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
sent my credit card to the Rockwood Court and it didn't get delivered. And now my credit card is sitting in someplace in the UPS distribution center. So I have to make my way over to Springfield, Missouri. So one of the first things I did was I tried to find a place to stay. And just by luck, there was one of these 100-mile yard sales going on. So a lot of the motels are filled up. But I got lucky. Journey Joe gets lucky a lot. Um, I called Connie at the Wagon Wheel Motel, and she had a room for me. So okay, so I booked it. So I'm on my way to um, the Wagon Wheel in Cuba, and of course I stopped in Sullivan. I stopped at Roman Rich's place, and I took a picture of that old motel. And then I went to Ernie's. That's where we left off with the pictures. I went to Ernie's and had lunch there. And then, as I was leaving Ernie's, I came up to this corner, and what pulls up to on a corner directly to the right of me, but a Corvette exactly like mine. Okay, so
That,
my car, it's 2004. It's almost 20 years old. They didn't make many of them. It's a special edition. And here pulls up next to me another car exactly like mine. So I waved to him and he waved to me, and cool, so I'm driving down old Route 66 to get to Wagon Wheel, and I was hoping he would pull in behind me when I got to the Wagon Wheel, and I
mhm.
pulled over, and he did, and we got to talking. His name was, I've got it written down someplace, so I can't remember it right at this moment, but he's from Minnesota,
Hmm.
and he bought his 2004 Corvette Le Mans edition just a few years ago, and he was really happy with it. And I told him, well, I've had mine since noon, and to me, this is one of those experiences that you just can't you just can't make this up.
Right. Yeah.
That was
Hmm.
just that was a really neat experience. So got myself checked into the Wagon Wheel, and probably took one too many pictures. Okay, here's me. There's my car parked around the back and in front of my room, and you can see I got one of the bigger ones, which I thought was really nice because I need a sitting room so that I can write. I like to
Right.
write once in a
Hmm.
while, and uh, so that was my sitting room. And then I took the next day. I took a trip to Lebanon. This is the Route 66 park in Lebanon. So I took myself a selfie there, and this place here is it's near the Munger Moss Motel,
Okay.
and it's just a nice place with a background. And I take a picture of myself every year when I'm there. So this went into my face. This is my Facebook profile picture. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, so okay, all right. So this is the road to John's Modern Cabins. If anybody wonders why you can't find it, well, this is why. Of course, it's on an abandoned dead end section of Route 66, and well, there's a road, and then there's actually what this particular road here used to be. Used to be like a median between the divided highway,
Ah,
and
okay.
it's of course it was cut. It was trimmed down once, and it's overgrown, so you have to walk through there. You can't drive. And then here's what's left. There's a one cabin left, so I took a picture of that and just kind of stood around. I didn't go walking around in there because I know that there's poison ivy there, and I didn't want to
Um,
get poison ivy, so I
now,
just
how
took a
long?
picture.
How long of a walk is that? Because that's pretty interesting.
Oh, not even a quarter mile. It's just imagine if you were on the interstate highway and you walk from one end across the median to the other end. This
Interesting.
this abandoned section of Route 66 actually was a divided highway before it was abandoned.
And tell me again, approximately where in Missouri this is.
I'd have to look that up on a map. And I do have
Well, that's okay. I was just thinking it'd be fun to go explore sometime.
oh, it's near Fort Leonard Wood. I know that.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
because and there's that place called Hooker Cut. It's close to there.
Okay. All right. So it's only about a quarter mile walk from where you can drive.
Right, right, right.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be fun to go find someday. And looks like this is the walk back.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And were you driving here or were you walking here?
No, I was still walking. Um,
Okay.
with a Corvette with the air intake way down low on the ground. And if you drive
Right.
over a lot of weeds like that, your car ends up eating a lot of them, and then you overheat.
Ah, yep, that makes sense. All right. Well, tell me about Dolly Parton here in the background.
Oh, well, so I had breakfast or lunch or whatever at that place called Uncle Ernie's, and I posted it on Facebook, and I got a comment from my post and my picture that says, well, come back to Bourbon, and right across the street is the Bourbon Coffee Saloon.
Hmm.
And I said, okay. So I went back there for breakfast the next morning. Um, and the lady who owns the place, Michelle, there's the name of the place, Bourbon
Mhm.
Street Saloon. And
Mhm.
Michelle is an admirer of Dolly Parton. Everything about her demeanor, her good naturedness. So it's
Mhm.
all. This is just such a delightful place. It's one of those places where there's a big long table in the middle where the locals sit, and everyone else. You can sit along the side if you want. So when I got there, I sat down next to the fellow in the red shirt, and we
Hmm.
had us a nice little chat, and it's just everything about this place is delightful, even the garbage cans.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you,
That's
you
not
walk
so
up to the
unusual.
trash cans and you just laugh. It's just
Mhm.
cute.
Right.
Um, so there's a couple of stories here. So we'll leave this picture here for a minute, and
Okay.
I'm gonna digress just a little bit. Somewhere in here, can't remember exactly where, but I had to drive all the way to Springfield, Missouri, to get my credit card. Now I didn't take any pictures, but um, the drive was no big deal. I got on the interstate, I set the cruise, I just pointed the car, and I had to go from Cuba, Missouri to Springfield, Missouri, and I don't know how many miles it is. It's about 125 miles one way, and I get to this UPS distribution center, and the place is as big as an airport. It's just huge. Just imagine it's huge. All these giant square warehouses and parking lots and trucks and people. It's just massive. Well, where do I go? I don't know. Um, so I found a place to park the car, and everyone that I talked to was very nice. It's
Hmm.
kind of amusing, really, because I talked to one person, and they handed me off to this other person, who handed me off to this other person, who handed me off to another person, and finally they got me to this customer center, which was one corner as a card table in a corner of this massive building. And
That's funny.
yeah, yeah, but the fellow was very nice. He opened up his office a half an hour early for me because I was there early,
Hmm.
and then got my credit card, and I turned around and I headed back, and I was so happy with my new credit card that I stopped back at the Bourbon Saloon. And then we go back to that picture. So I stopped back at the Bourbon Saloon, and I was so happy with my credit card, I decided I was going to buy everybody lunch.
Oh.
And so we sat down. It was me and this fellow here, Lefty, and another guy named, I think his name was Steve. And Michelle came and sat down with us, and we were talking. And Michelle was telling us about how uh, the roof leaked last night. Now, the night before this, that it poured. It poured so much that my hotel room at the Wagon Wheel had water on the floor. But
Oh
anyway, go
boy.
back to that one picture there, that last picture. And so Michelle's telling me that, oh, there was water dripping on the stage. See, that's the stage there. Well, while she's
I
telling me
see.
this, I'm looking up at the ceiling, and you can't see it from here, but I noticed one of the ceiling tiles was kind of like bowed.
Hmm.
So I go, hey, Michelle, there might be some more water up there in the ceiling. And she goes, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we went over there, and we got a little bucket, and we got a little towel, and we got a little ladder. And the one gal who works there, she was going to try and bring this ceiling tile down. you
Oh
know,
boy.
and she
Hmm.
climbed up on the ladder, and all she did was touch that ceiling tile with one finger, and sploosh, everybody got soaked. And this picture was like right after that, and we're just
Oh,
laughing our tails off.
yeah. That
Again,
is funny.
you don't get this on the interstate,
Right.
Just
Hmm.
the experiences like that, they're just so much fun. And
Hmm.
Michelle says, "Well, now you got to come back, and lunch will be on the house, next time you come back." So
Oh, it's
that was
fun.
my
Yeah.
experience. So these are the two guys. Let's see, that's on my left, which is the right of the picture. That's Lefty, and the guy with the red shirt on, I think his name was Steve. But yeah, those were the fellas that I had lunch with that day.
Okay. Well,
All
let's see
right.
what's next. So, what do we have here?
Oh, this is the refrigerator at the Bourbon Street. I thought I
Oh,
had a
okay.
lot of magnets on my refrigerator, but she got me beat. Okay, I don't know if we want to show this or not.
Okay.
This is in an antique store. The place is
Mm.
called, what's the name of the place? Half Crocked Antiques in Bourbon, Missouri.
Okay.
You can see that. I don't know if you want to do a close up on
Okay.
that or not. It's a trailer trash doll.
Okay. I've never heard of that. Okay. That's
Yeah,
silly.
it was just some kind of a joke.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, but it might be offensive to some people, so we won't
Right.
spend too much
Yeah.
time on that. Anyway, um, from there I drove along. I stopped in Mansfield, Missouri, and I went to a museum there, and I went looking for Jack's Wellborn's Photoshop, and it's not downtown anymore. It's here. It's kind of right off an interstate exit. Um,
Okay. So, is
if you're
that what we're
asking,
looking at here? Is that what we're looking at?
yes, that's what we're looking at. That's Jack's Wellborn's shop.
Okay.
Very nice on the inside. Not doesn't look very you know very attention getting on the outside,
Hmm.
but that's her place.
Okay.
And
And looks like another restaurant.
right, yeah, there was a few different restaurants I stayed at.
Sure.
I stopped
Hmm.
at. It was very very hot
Right.
all day long. You're driving along, and and by this time, the heat is starting to get to my Angel, the Corvette, and she's starting to
Mm.
run hot. And
Oh,
so
okay.
there was a couple of times when I had to pull over and let the
Look.
car cool off, and I'd go into a restaurant like
Yep.
this,
Yep.
just
Okay. So,
relax.
do you recall the name of that one?
Um, no,
Okay.
no, this
No.
is
Hmm.
okay. So this is just I, I could look that up, but
No, that's okay. So, looks like you're going down the road again.
yeah, and I remember the movie Cars, where there's a scene in Cars where they're showing you driving along with the long shadow. So
Yeah.
whenever I'm
Hmm.
driving along with the long shadow, I'd like to
Oh,
try
I
to
like
take a
that.
picture of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so on Saturday um, was the memorial service for Ramona Lehman. She was the owner of the Munger Moss Motel. So I went to the memorial service. It was a very nice service. Um, there was, a lot of people that I knew there. And after the service, I went to a bunch of us went to this place called Rinks Market. That might have been where that picture was that I couldn't remember. It was Rinks
Okay.
Market in Lebanon, Missouri, and ordered myself I should never forget this. It was a turkey bacon wrap. Oh, was it good? It was so good I didn't
Mm.
want to eat the whole thing. That way I could enjoy it the next morning. So I ate
Hmm.
half of this and I put the other half away, and I sat with some people. A fella named Larry Jenkins I met. He owns a uh, automobile customization shop in Arkansas, and he's part of the Route 66, thing. And
Hmm.
him and his wife sat down with me. I had a nice dinner with them, or lunch, and then I went on my way. And that's when I ended up in Rolla, Missouri. And so Sunday morning, and I go to church on Sunday, whatever town I'm in, I go to church.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the church and I attended the service. And of course, by this time, I'm getting pretty hungry and I'm thinking of that turkey bacon club. Oh, that just sounds so nice. So nice. So the church service ends and I'm driving back. Well, it rained a little bit while I was in church and I'm driving back. And then, my car, Angel, she doesn't like to have water on her. So she says, I'm wet. All right, Angel. So I pulled over and into this parking lot and I got my towel out and I got Angel all wiped off really nice. And I got back on the road and I just like a half a block down Route 66. And there I saw this homeless man. He was laying on the sidewalk and he had
Mm.
his cart and his dog there. And he did not look very good. And he just kind of looked at me and my Journey Joe voice just said to me, he's hungry. And it just stuck in my mind. I drove back to my motel and I'm thinking of this turkey bacon club and how good it's going to taste. And then I thought to myself, what about that guy out there, So I put my turkey bacon club in the microwave and I heated it up and I drove back there with my nice and heated up. And here's the funny part. I stop, I get out of the car, and the dog starts barking at me like crazy until he smells the bacon. Then he stopped barking.
Oh.
So I walk up to this fellow and I says, are you hungry? And he says, yeah. He says, I can't get up. I hurt my foot. So
Hmm.
I gave him my turkey bacon club.
Well,
And
there you go.
that was
Yeah.
my good deed for the day.
Right.
There was
Mm-hmm.
the gospel that day was Jesus on the road to Emmaus. He
Oh.
said
Mm-hmm.
I was on my way to Emmaus and met up with these two people and they took me out for lunch and they didn't even realize who I was. So
Yep.
I thought,
Yep.
who
That's
knows?
great. Yeah,
Right.
I like
So
that.
all right. So after that, that's when I checked out of the motel in Rolla and
Mm-hmm.
I was going to the festival in Springfield was still a week away. So now I got a
Okay.
week to kill to get from Raleigh, Missouri to Springfield, Missouri. So I thought, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go past Springfield and I'm going to explore Oklahoma and Kansas.
I
So
see.
I think I had someplace booked in Oklahoma. I had place booked in Kansas, right across the street from Gearhead Curios. I had a place booked at Red Oak 2. I had all this all set up, okay? All I got
Mm-hmm.
to do is get there. So I get in my car and, I had to make up some time. I had already explored all of this part of Route 66, from Springfield to Cuba when I came back with my credit card.
Right.
So this time I'm on the interstate highway and I'm driving along and I'm all the way around Springfield and I'm going to get off and get back on Route 66 and take that all the way into Kansas. And I'm on this exit ramp and I'm driving along and I'm coasting down to about 60 miles an hour and I come around and oh shit, there's a huge pothole right there. And you got
Oh
to
no.
imagine this is all happening very fast, right? So it's a huge pothole and I swerve to the right and bam, bam, I hit an even bigger pothole
Oh
because
no.
I swerved off the road and the side of the road was washed out. So there was an even bigger hole there with just this sharp edge of concrete. So bam,
Hmm.
bam. And I knew my car was hurt. So now we can go
Mm-hmm.
back to that picture. Okay, so that's my back tire. You can see where it's bubbled there on the sidewall and it's all chewed
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yep.
I think the next picture is the front tire.
Let me get over there. Yep. Yeah, I see it. Yep.
Ooh, isn't that ugly?
Yeah, about like at 5 o'clock position. Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I
So
see it. Mm-hmm.
so the first thing I thought to myself, well, I think I got a little bit of blessing here, uh, for the good deed I did because the car was still drivable. I mean, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the car was still drivable after that. You just got to imagine how hard this hit was. I mean, these tires, these are high performance, run flat racing tires, and they're
Right.
destroyed,
Yeah.
So, okay, so I can't go. I'm not going to keep driving on this. So, okay.
Right.
So here I am again, right? I'm on Route 66 and I have to think on my feet. I got to think, I got to make things up. So, okay, so what do I do? What do I need? Okay, first thing you need is tires. Okay. What else do I need? I need a place to stay. And again, I just cannot imagine being any more fortunate than I was for this to happen in Springfield, Missouri, because I think on all of Route 66, I know more people in Springfield than I know anywhere else.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna come back to Springfield anyway for the festival the following weekend. Um, and I was going to stay at the Rockwood Motor Court. I know Phyllis and Tim very well, the owners, because I've stayed there
Mm-hmm.
many times. So
Okay.
I limped me and my angel over to the Rockwood Motor Court, and I sat down in there and I called Phyllis and I said, "Guess what I got myself into this time?" She goes, "Oh, hey, Joe, what did you do now?"
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I hit this giant pothole and I blew up 2 tires."
Oh Jay.
And okay, so she came out and paid me a visit, and we went out for lunch. And I said, "Well, well, first of all, I asked her if she knew anyone where I could get tires, and she told me to, she gave me a couple numbers to call because Phyllis knows everybody in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I called a couple of phone numbers, and those tires are hard to find. Right? They're special high performance run flat tires on a 20-year-old car. So I called these 2 places, and they gave me my price, and they said it'll probably take a week to get these tires.
A
So
week. Oh boy.
a week, yeah, yeah. But again, what more could I ask for? I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
friendliest road in America, and I'm in one of the friendliest places in America. So I said, Phyllis, got a place for me to stay? Oh, funny you should ask. Yes, I do. So she put me up in their big suite. It's called the Filler Up Suite, which is
Okay.
uh,
I
uh,
think I've got a picture of you there. Yeah, there we go. That's Rockwood,
okay.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the Rockwood Motor Court.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there's a few folks that were there that day, and a couple of Italian tourists. So
Okay.
we got to be ambassadors, and yeah, that was my first day there. After I showed up with the tires, and
Mm-hmm.
as
Hmm.
far as the traveling goes, we'll just jump ahead a little bit. I stayed here for 8 nights.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, because I had to wait for my tires. And there's a story there, and I had to get a rental
Mm.
car, and there's a story there too. And
Okay.
I don't know about the rest of yous, but before I tell that rest of those stories, I think I need to get a glass of water. So if you could
Okay.
excuse me for just 1 minute.
Absolutely. Yep. So let's talk about the Rockwood a little bit. Tell me which room you were in.
Oh, the Rock. You cannot beat this place for somewhere to stay on Route 66. It's just excellent. Um, I stayed in two different rooms. Um, I stayed in the gas station room. It's called the Filler Up Suite. There might be a picture of it in somewhere in here, and there might not. I don't remember whether I took a picture of it or not. Nope, that's
I
not it.
don't see it. Oh, okay. But
Nope.
I'm
Okay.
familiar with that room, and that room is huge.
Oh, it's huge, and it's got there's 2 beds in one corner, and then there's a king bed in another corner, and then by the door there's this leather couch that's just to die for. As a matter of fact, there's 3 beds in this room. I slept on the couch. That's how nice that couch is. I guess I
You know,
shouldn't be.
Phyllis told me that she says everybody loves the couch in that room.
Oh yes, it is so nice. It is so nice.
Hmm.
So I stayed there my first 2 nights, and here's a funny story. My second night, I'm staying in the gas station filler up suite, and I'm sleeping on the couch. And the way the place is located, the couch is very close to the door, right? And it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden I hear somebody is knocking on the window. They think it's the office,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
and I can hear voices outside and people talking. So I just pulled the covers over my head and hope they wouldn't notice me. And because all it is just a door with a
Hmm.
flimsy little curtain, and but they went away after about 10, 15 minutes. You know,
That's funny. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of, again, you don't get
Mhm.
this on the interstate, do you?
No.
So after that, after I checked out of there, then I stayed in. I don't remember what the name of the room is, but it was, go back
Oh,
to that last picture.
good.
That room was directly behind the white car there. Um,
Okay. Hmm.
is you know I don't know whether that's the room. It was a double room. I know that, and
Okay.
that is one of those rooms where half of it used to be a garage, and the
Okay.
other half used to be the room, and they converted it into 2 rooms. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, somewhere in there, there's a picture of the room that I stayed in was either that one that you see next behind the white car, or the one
Hmm.
immediately to the right of it that you
Okay.
can't see in this picture.
Okay. Yep.
Now, the and by the time the Springfield Festival came around, a week later,
Hmm.
this place was full. So
Oh,
right
I'm
now
sure.
there's just a few people there, but
Hmm.
it filled up. Um,
I believe Jeremy from Boots Motor Court, that the Rockwood is the oldest operating motor court on Route 66.
I've heard that too. I believe it.
Hmm. Yep. Hmm. Okay, so anything else more about Rockwood, or do we continue on?
Well, let's see. The There's just down the street from the Rockwood Motor Court. There's a place called the College Street Cafe. There's probably a picture of that somewhere in there. Um, it's a
Is that it?
That's that. Yes, that's the College Street Cafe.
Okay.
So, and it's just, and that's like a half a mile walk from the Rockwood Motor Court. Really good food, always good banter there.
Okay.
Okay, now these other pictures, and there's a whole bunch of them. This is a museum about 5 doors down from the Rockwood Motor Court. There's one picture there of the front lawn of the place. Um, I
I'm
think,
looking for the front lawn.
yeah, go. You have to go back.
Oh, okay. Yep. Let's see here.
There it is. You
Okay.
can see that thing out front there. I call this place the Buzzard Nest.
Okay.
Um, it's an old satellite dish that guy made into a sculpture. And
Hmm.
the story I got was this place is here, but it's usually closed. And Phyllis told me, she said, if you get lucky and you walk past there and you see the owner, you'll get a tour. And of
Oh.
course, Journey Joe got lucky again, and he
Mm-hmm.
was just happened to be pulling into his driveway, and he gave me a tour of the place.
Well, that's
So
cool.
we
Yeah.
can scroll through a few pictures here. They're a little bit out of order, but um, yeah. So this thing here, there's a thing that blows up balloons, and this is just all of the stuff that he has in there.
Okay. Looks like an old
Jukeboxes,
Wurlitzer. Yeah.
yeah, jukeboxes. He's got a
Hmm.
massive collection of telephones, and let's see what else is it. I have a couple of there's a rainbow of telephones. I call
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I like the champion sign on top of it. That's what caught my eye. Yeah.
Uh huh.
And a wicker motorcycle.
Yeah, a whole motorcycle made out of wicker. How cool is
Mhm.
that?
Yeah. More
another
telephones.
phone.
Yeah.
This is just, just stuff that catches your eye.
Yeah.
Now he had a couple of nice cars there. So this is a
Mhm.
1957 Chevy in a rather rare color. I believe it's called India Ivory, but I'm not
Okay. Yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a Campbell's Humping to Please 66 sign there for a
right,
truck line. Yeah.
right,
Yeah. I remember those still running when I was a child. Yeah.
yeah. Now, while I'm thinking of it, the fellow that owns this museum, he also has a business. Um,
Hmm.
he has the contract for making seat covers for Amazon trucks. So he's got a
Oh.
crew of like 5 people, and he's got a sewing shop,
Hmm.
right behind this museum where
Okay.
they make seat covers for Amazon trucks all day long.
Isn't that
They got
something?
a contract
Yeah.
for the whole company.
Are we looking at a Cushman motorcycle? Is that the
I
brand
believe
there?
so. Yeah, isn't that? Yeah, it's
Mhm.
pretty streamlined. It's almost Art
Yeah.
Deco, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Looks like a T-Rex out there.
Yeah, you got to have one of
Mhm.
those in your museum.
Yeah. 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 This is cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ice cream cooler, and
Yeah.
now this sign. He said that what's special about this sign is that it's got the reflectors in it,
I
and he
see him. Hmm.
for what it's worth, he said he's never seen another sign like that anywhere in any shop, in any antique shop. So
Hmm.
what makes it special is that it's got those reflectors. He's never seen that anywhere. He's thinking that might be a prototype sign because he
Hmm.
noticed the shape isn't exactly
Yeah.
correct
Hmm.
either.
That's interesting. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah,
So what do we have here?
a thing with a face.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, while you're looking at this, guess what this is? Can you
It looks
guess
like
what
a
it is?
radio. I mean, it just looks like an early radio or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, and he told me. He says, "Guess what that is?" And I says, um, "A portable radio." And what does the next picture tell us? It's
Oh,
a
it's a
phone booth.
telephone. It's a phone
Yeah,
booth.
yeah, it's a early phone booth.
Isn't that something? Yeah, you got
Uh
your
huh.
desk chair there and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me, how did the tires end up?
Oh my goodness. So finally, I got a hold of the place that Phyllis told me to call, and they says we're gonna look for your tires. I said, great. So I need a rental car, right? So I call around and I arranged to pick up a rental car on Sunday,
Hmm.
and then they called me back and they says, well, we won't have your rental car till Monday. And so that was actually when I told Phyllis I need a place to stay because I didn't have a car. So I have a place to stay, no worries. Um, I have my tires on order and the car's sitting there, it's safe. And I call on Monday morning and they said, your rental car will be ready at noon. So I had Phyllis give me a ride to the rental car place, which is like a couple doors down from her office. And I walk in there, and they said, "Okay, well, we'll have your car for you at 4 o'clock." And I'm like, "Did I forget, or did they tell me wrong? I don't know. What does
Hmm.
it matter? There's a chair right there." So I went and I sat down. The guy says, "You want us to call you when your car's ready?" I says, "Yeah, I'll be sleeping right there in the corner, no problem." So I sat down and I got to talking to a couple other people in the lobby there, and there was a couple there who had just dropped off their rental car, and they were only driving home 30 miles. So I said, "Hey, how about a nice random act of kindness here?" And they gave me a ride back to the motel and back to Rockwood Motor Court, and that was fine. And then I got another ride back at 4 o'clock, and I picked up my rental car, and that was fine for the rest of the week. So I I got a car. Just go wherever I go. I visited little places here and there, and mostly just kind of hung around. And I called a couple days later. I called the tire place, or they called me. I can't remember what.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Okay, we found your tires. They're on their way. They're being shipped." I said, "Great." And then I thought to myself, well, maybe it would be a good idea for me to go take the car over there to the tire place. That way, when the tires come, the car will be there. I called
Mm-hmm.
them up and they says, "Yeah, we'll park it inside." So I thought, well, good. This way there's no chance I have to drive in the rain or anything like that. So I drove the car over there. I had another guy who was staying at the Rockwood, followed me, gave me a ride back. So I dropped the car off, and the next day the tire's supposed to get put on. Well, next day, phone doesn't ring. I wait and I wait and I wait. Finally, I call him up, and he says, "Well, let me tell you." And I says, "Oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
here it comes." He says, "The front tires are here. The back tires are here. The front tires are not." I said, "Okay." He says, "Yeah, the back tires came from one warehouse in one state, and the front tires were supposed to come from this other place, but they're not here." And we called the distributor, and the distributor says, "Well, we shipped them." And the shipper says, "We never went to that warehouse." So who knows where they went? They're just lost. They're just, whatever. So they got the back tires, but they don't have the front tires. So I says, "Oh, what are we going to do now?" And he says, "Well, we'll try to find you another set of Michelin run flat tires." Well, another day went by, and talked to him, and they says, "Well, we cannot find Michelin run flat tires, but we've got these nice knockoffs. They look kind of the same, except they're not run flats. Will you? I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it." I told them. So they put the tires on, and I went there
Mm-hmm.
and I paid for it. Now here comes another funny part. So I get in the car. The car is still in the garage, right? I told them I'll back the car out. So I start the car, and the headlights pop up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, the headlights came on. And the technician says, "Oh, don't worry, they'll just shut off when you go outside." I said, "Okay." So I back the car out and I get outside, and sure enough, the headlights shut off. And I'm thinking, what is going on? I have owned this car for 20 years, and this has never ever happened. The headlights
Hmm.
have never come on automatically. I mean, I know what automatic headlights are. We all
Right.
do. Lots
Mm-hmm.
modern cars have them. But this car, this is a 2004. It never had it.
Hmm.
So I drove back, and I'm happy. The tires are happy. The car's happy, and then I went along. We had the festival and everything else, and my friend Mary came and visited with me, and everything's great. But at night, the headlights come on. Start the car in the morning, the headlights come on. So
Hmm.
I went online with the Corvette forums, and the Corvette magazines,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, what is going wrong? What is going on with my car? 20 years, 120,000 miles, all of a sudden I got automatic headlights. And somebody got back to me, and they told me that all fifth generation Corvettes were built with, their program. They have a light sensor, right? That's what dims the
Okay.
dash lights and all that. They were all built with this feature where that light sensor would turn the headlights on, but everybody complained about it. They said they were too nervous. They come on, or somebody would be, driving on a racetrack, and every time they went underneath a bridge, the headlights would come on. So people
Mm-hmm.
complain about it. So it turns out that what they did was every car, when it came off the assembly line, they just went on there with their little programmer and they disabled it. So the
Hmm.
car has had this feature all along, but it's been disabled. So
Mm-hmm.
somehow, when they put my new tires on and they reprogrammed my tire pressure sensors, they
Hmm.
enabled this feature. So, I don't know, just another funny
Hmm.
story. What are you gonna?
Yeah, I was trying to make the connection between new tires and a headlight sensor, but I guess the air pressure sensor was it. So,
Yeah, yeah. They put the new tires on, and they have to
hmm
reprogram the tire pressure sensors. And
hmm
apparently, when they did that, they enabled
that's interesting.
the
And
automatic headlights.
I know earlier you said you damaged, a front tire and a rear tire, but it sounds like you replaced all four, and I guess that's just so it's a match set left and right.
Right, right. Yeah. So here's a one funny story is the reason I took this car and not my other classic car. I've got a 64 Chevy. The reason I
Hmm.
didn't take the 64 Chevy on this trip is because it needs tires. The tires on the 64 Chevy are at least 10 years old. They were on the car when I bought it. I thought, I don't want to take this 10-year-old tires on a road trip. I'm going to take the Corvette. The tires are
Mhm.
5 years old. They're getting kind of worn out. I'll get new tires when I get home, but I know there's
Mhm.
plenty enough left on these 5-year-old tires I can make this trip. So I wasn't so upset about having to buy new tires for the Corvette, but it's
Mhm.
just kind of funny that the reason I took the car was because of tires.
Well, I'm sure now you've tweaked everybody's interest on what 64 Chevy you have.
Well, I don't think I have any pictures of it there, but I have a 64 Chevy Malibu convertible, and his
Oh,
name is
sweet.
Louie. And
Oh, okay. And what
hopefully I'll get
color is
him on.
it? Yeah.
Huh?
What color is it?
He's red.
Yeah, red. A red 64 Chevy Malibu. That sounds sweet. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and go back to your pictures and we will continue your journey with the photos. All right.
Okay, so by then I had finished with my visit there. Now this I walked to um, another restaurant. I don't know, it's probably about a half a mile from the Rockwood Motor Court.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever I had there, it was delicious. Baked beans, barbecue beef, and
Yeah.
Gatorade. And the reason I remember this meal was because I was very tired and the Gatorade woke me up. You
Oh,
know,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, one of the things that I had to deal with or a challenge on this trip was fatigue. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a senior citizen. It was very, very hot, and a lot of times I
Mm-hmm.
was tired, and you know, Gatorade saved the day for me that day. So I took a
Yep.
picture of it.
Okay. Looks like you're back at
This
the
is
Rockwood again. Yeah.
all right. Here we are. This is my room. Uh, this one used to be two rooms. They
Hmm.
converted the door on the right side into a window and an air conditioner. So yeah, this one, there's one bedroom on the left side there, and then there's two more beds on the right side. So it's two rooms. And when my friend Mary came to visit me here, we already had this plan that she was going to come and spend the weekend with me for the Springfield Route 66 festival. She
Mm-hmm.
had one side of the place and I had the other side of the place.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I actually stayed in this place for 6 nights.
Okay. Well, that's great.
This this is the Hangar Cafe. Lots of people go there. It's very nice. The What I remember most about it was how much it rained that day. It
I,
just poured.
I
Gosh,
can.
did it pour!
Are we looking through your windshield?
Yeah, I couldn't get out of the car. I had my rental car,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm still waiting on tires, and
Okay. Yeah.
I went to the Hangar Cafe. This is the inside of the Hangar Cafe. After waiting 20 minutes outside in the car for the rain to let up, then I finally went in there, and of course, it's raining so hard, there's nobody in there. So I had breakfast.
Now, is this in Springfield also? Because I've never seen this before.
Well, it's west of Springfield. Once you get west out of Springfield,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's a segment of Route 66 that I've heard it called Ghost 66 because all
Hmm.
the towns are itty bitty little ghost towns until you get to
Mm-hmm.
Carthage. There's
Hmm.
like there's Avila and there's Plu and there's, I don't know, a couple others. They're just really, really tiny towns. And then just, I don't know, this place here is about, maybe a mile or so north of Route 66 at an
Okay.
airport, of course.
Yeah, this would be
Um,
something to go check out because this is pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice looking place, a very nice
Mhm.
place.
All right.
And when I left the Hangar Cafe, I drove very carefully because there was a lot of running water on the roads because it rained like buckets. I went to
Mm-hmm.
the Red Oak 2 and I just wandered around. And of course, again, it had just stopped raining and the sun came out, so there's nobody there. I had the
Mm.
whole place to myself, and I'm just kind of driving, along and
Mm-hmm.
just looking. And I came around to the backside of the place there where Rose and Lowell Davis house is, and just by Journey Joe's luck, Rose Davis was walking out the front door as I drove by,
Hmm.
and I said, "Rose, Rose, Rose,"
So now is
and
this Rose here?
yes, that's Rose Davis there,
Okay. All right.
and I said hi to her, and she came over and talked to me, and after a few minutes of talking, she remembered who I was because there's a motel on the property of the Red Oak 2, and I've stayed there before. So
Hmm.
I've dealt with her, and she remembered me, and she said, "Come on in, let's chat." So again, I just felt so honored and so lucky that I got to sit down and chat with Rose Davis for an hour and a half,
Oh
just
wow. Yeah.
about everything, Route 66, and how things have gone since Lowell passed away, and to
Mm-hmm. I think
what.
Red Oak too has changed since I've been there. I think it's growing. It's probably been, gosh, I don't know, 5 or 8 years since I've been to Red Oak 2, and I don't remember a motel.
Well, yeah. The story that I heard is before he passed away, Lowell actually sold about half of that Red Oak 2 complex um, to pay for a divorce.
Hmm.
So, there's, people live there, and some of the buildings are being restored and refurbished. And someone who bought one of the properties there, which is right next to that airplane we were just looking at,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's to the right there. They built a little motel there.
Well, isn't that cool? I didn't know about that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a 3 or 4 room motel.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
don't know if I took a picture of it or not, but I didn't get to stay there this time. It was
Right.
booked.
Now this
And
looks
even
like
if
more of
I
Red
did,
Oak 2 here.
yeah, this is Red Oak too.
Mm-hmm.
All these pictures where you could just sense the artistry and the serenity, just the offbeatness,
Mm-hmm.
beatedness of it is, that's all of, that's all part of Red Oak too.
I like this photo. This is cool. Yeah. Okay.
I saw that. I had to take a picture of it.
Yeah. Are we still
Life
at
is
Red
a
Oak
journey,
here? Yeah.
huh?
Are we
This
still
is
at
still,
Red Oak here? Yeah.
yeah, this is still at Red Oak, and
Okay.
hey, this is my mantra here. The
There it
joys
is.
in
Yeah.
the journey, and the journey itself is the destination.
Yep. Yep.
When I think of it that way, it it doesn't matter if I blow up my tires and I gotta wait for a week before I go on my way because I'm where I need to be, and wherever I'm at, I make the best of it. I make friends, everyone's friendly, and
Mhm.
it's just a great way to travel.
You know what's funny about that is just a couple of days ago, I was interviewing the owner of Motel Safari in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and we were
Yeah,
talking about this how Route 66 is about the journey, not the destination.
absolutely. And that is sometimes the most difficult thing to explain to tourists. You see a lot of posts on the Route 66 site say, "Well, I'm coming. I've got 7 days to travel all of Route 66. How do I do that?" And try to explain that it doesn't matter how far you get.
Right.
Because
Hmm.
wherever you're at is where you're going to find the interesting things. So yes, the
Yep.
journey is the destination.
Good. All right. Well, thanks again, Joe, for sharing your week number 2 with us. And also, thank you for watching Traveler's Stories. I'd like to say thank you to our guest today. And also, I want to say thank you for watching my videos. Producing these videos is just my way of giving back to Route 66 and preserving this piece of Americana for the next generation. Now you can let me know that you appreciate these videos by just simply clicking onto this logo to subscribe to my channel, and of course feel free to share these videos to your social media pages.